Sé que me extrañas cada día. Si perdió el amor, lo siento, fue mala mía. Si fuera un cuento de fantasía, te llevaría a un paraíso y te besaría. Pero look at me, what in talking in Spanish.
Hello and welcome yet again to another episode here at the Cardboard Cave podcast. And tonight we're going to be talking about the top 8 deck list of the Pro Tour of Lorwyn Eclipse. As well, we're going to go ahead and talk once again about the lawsuit. So we're going to start with once again with the lawsuit and move forward with the deck list. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the like button so that you guys can be up to date with anything and everything cardboard or board game related. So let's go ahead and bring in our other host that they're all here with us this episode. So let's go ahead and bring in the master of the dark arts himself, JP.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, JP?
I'm doing all very good.
That's awesome. So let's go ahead and bring in our favorite director, Ale.
Hi. I'm reading stuff. Sorry. Ready.
We're all getting up to date with everything that's going on
a lot of
in
stuff.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
And then let's go ahead and bring in our favorite goblin, the one and only Chris. Ooh. He's muted.
He's muted. It's okay.
Again, yeah, I think this one's going to become a theme, guys. Hey, what's up?
Ale knows this. Every time that somebody's mic was muted or something happened during the recording or live stream, it was going to be a great podcast.
Of course. That's how you know. That's a telltale sign.
So, guys, let's go ahead and my bad. Let's go ahead and start off the bat with the big situation is going on with Hasbro, because in this case is not I'm gonna say it's not Wizard of the Coast's fault. Wizard of the Coast has a bigger company behind them saying like, hey, you guys have to do this and do that, but doing this and that, and I really wish that I could say right now, let's go ahead and do a flashback of every time that we've mentioned the fact that since the acquisition of Hasbro from Wizard of the Coast, that they acquired Wizard of the Coast, all of us had the same mindset. This is going to be an issue. This is going to bring problems. We don't understand why a toy company wants a TCG company. But at the end of the day, when we started seeing Secret Lair and Universe Beyond and so on and so forward, we've been noticing that every year more product was coming in and they were not giving us a break to breathe. And we've always said it, all of us, all three of us. I think that we can say that we predicted this situation. Obviously, we did not predict the lawsuit. We predicted the too much product. So giving a small explanation to whoever's not up to date with the situation. So Hasbro is being sued by investors due to having too much product out for Magic the Gathering. And not only that, these investors were presented with a game plan and with certain numbers that are not kicking in on what is happening now. They are worried that the longevity of how the products are moving forward in Wizard of the Coast, they are worried that the card game will suffer and people will stop either playing or collecting or buying cards for fun. Not only that case, there's something before we started recording the podcast, I watched the 20-minute video from Prof explaining why the promo stamp is not there. And he explained that it was to save money, but he noticed that every time more cuts have happened. Commander products, they started with having the oversized cards, and now they don't have the oversized cards. This year, from the next set moving forward, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set moving forward, there won't be no more collector sample packs. Bundles are not bringing the little box to hold.
The Lorwyn Commander decks don't have collector sample packs.
Oh, they don't. Oh, okay.
They don't. No.
Probably Prof said that incorrectly, or I heard it incorrectly. But the fact that we're not that every product that we have that they have cut something out, and they still say that when they do a cut is because they need to save money. It's not making sense. Now, going round table for each one of you guys, what are your thoughts in regards to this lawsuit from Wizard of the Coast?
So, I think it's a reasonable lawsuit, mostly because the return on the investment, like we already talked about, we've talked about profits in terms of Wizard of the Coast and Hasbro, and how every single year for the past 5 years they've had record-breaking profits.
Yeah.
And every year it's an increment in the products and the product lineup. We also understand as players that has been very unsustainable, and even though they mentioned that they're going to cut back this next year, it's not even this next year, this year 2026 has seven standard lineups. That's not including all the commander products,
which is unheard of.
Layers.
They've never had 7 sets of standard in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
It's never happened.
Not only that, look at Marvel Superheroes as bringing in so much new product. We're gonna get Draft Night box. We're gonna get a beginner box.
We already got them with Lorwyn Eclipse too.
And then we're gonna get the same treatment with the bundles. Like, oh, you're gonna get your normal bundle, and then there's like the more expensive gift bundle that's like $100, plus play boosters, jumpstart boosters, commander decks, so on and so on.
So basically, as an investment, because the return on investment is there, but as a long-term investment, they're going to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
Players are already feeling a lot of burnout. I'm pretty sure, at least I've felt like recently, players don't even talk about burnout because they're just like, yeah, I don't care about this set, and just skip it entirely.
Which is what they said they wanted you to do, but it's not exactly what you want your customer to be doing.
Yeah, it's not something you want them to be doing, actually. Yeah. I agree. So I think it's perfectly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like it's not going to go anywhere particular. Mostly because they plan sets 2 years in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they have 2 years to manage and try to establish expectations to what those next 2 years are going to look like, but for the most part, they're already set in stone. So unless this lawsuit just drags until they see results, or they settle establishing that they're a proper expectation, then I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I've noted, we talked about this before, the overproducing of many, many different products, which is beneficial for us because since we have so much product, we get to essentially pick and choose as a customer. It's actually great. But for the longevity of the brand, which is what they're arguing, which is very smart because shareholders would just generally think about money and profit. They won't think about the brand. Like if they see the brand burning down to the ground, they'll just skip to something else. But the fact that they're actually sort of caring of the longevity of the brand speaks volumes because it's something that the community has been expressing for the longest time, and they've been ignoring them. And it's not until like the shareholders have to sue them in order for them to kind of realize like, okay, maybe we are overproducing. There are probably ways to mitigate it too, because sure, they're doing 7 sets this year, and we already seen that they're capable of doing this. If push comes to shove, they can move sets around and can move sets to next year. They already did this already last year with Lorwyn Eclipse. So
I also think that the reason why they care is mostly because this is a 30-year-old game. So it's already, it's 3 decades worth of consistency on the investment.
Yep.
And you can see dividends and proper a proper return than seeing a weird established, like a weird pattern of behavior recently, then that's a cause for concern.
And they're printing money. Think like literally, they are printing cardboard and they're
Yeah.
turning that into money. It has to be like one of the best investments they could ever have because it probably does not cost a lot. Even though Wizards say it costs a lot, it really doesn't. They're printing cardboard, like it really doesn't.
Yeah.
Let's put an example. Let's put an example on Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon went ahead and they were like, oh, we have scalpers. Scalpers are real. You know, the Pokemon company was like, yeah, this is real. These people are not letting kids and adults that like to actually collect and just play the game
Buy the product.
buy the product. So hey, how about we do this? How about we just we get a contract of this X amount of millions with this printing company in, I don't remember where it's located, but we got this contract, so we're gonna print more product.
We're gonna print it to the ground, which is good because they needed to do that. But Wizards of the Coast doesn't function the same way. That's the thing.
No, yeah.
Like we don't need that much excess product unless you need it for, say, example, Final Fantasy, because we try to dominate that set specifically.
But we all know, all four of us know that the reason why Universe Beyond exists is because Hasbro likes to maintain licenses. Because if they maintain the license, they can continue making toys. And then if they maintain the license, if X and Y Hollywood executive or digital platform, streaming platform is like, oh, I want to make a new Transformers series. Haha, we have the license for toys. So we're going to do toys and we're going to do a new Universe Beyond set.
Of course. Makes sense. And they basically print money with this because they'll find a new audience or whatever. But it's the thing that we've been saying for the longest time. Like, sure, you'll get an influx of new people because of the IP you're like currently promoting, but at the same time, how many of those people will actually stay? And we already had years of research to show you that most of the time they either stay with the same deck for years or they just collect it and move on.
I do feel like in that aspect, I understand the part of the company. I'm not saying that they're right, but it's very much of a Netflix type situation where they buy the rights to a story. They make out of season one. Season one is amazing, but because season two won't bring in new excited viewers, new subscriptions, they just don't make a season two, and then just scrap the show.
Or they wait a long time.
Yeah.
So Chris, what are your thoughts?
Successful, so yeah.
I think this was kind of like this was going to happen. Like since day one, since the very moment that Hasbro acquired Wizards, this is something that we could have absolutely like known was going to happen, that they were going to get sued by their very own investors. Because I remember having this conversation, because again, when the podcast basically started is when a lot of this news was floating around, and I remember that around the time there was a lot of news about Hasbro's toy sales and everything, like in Hasbro just going like down, and like they were losing a ton of money. So then suddenly, a company that's losing money out of nowhere just buys Wizards of the Coast. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, so why would they do that? So yeah, we all know that, like, how profitable it is and blah blah blah, whatever, right? But then suddenly, like, not only were there like decent earnings reports for like Magic the Gathering, like suddenly all of like Hasbro stuff like started kind of going up. You know what I mean? And that's where I think that the investors probably like started to get suspicious. And I also remember very specifically that we talked about how, the investors were talking about how the entire thing was unsustainable. And if I'm not mistaken, they were very specifically, it was mentioned like in the article, like they were gonna give them a 5-year timeline because they were thinking, hey, like 5 years from now, this is no longer going to be sustainable. This is gonna like go badly. So yeah, it's funny to see things play out now. I am kind of on the same boat as Ale, thinking that the lawsuit might not actually go anywhere.
Mhm.
And it's just exactly for the same reasons you guys mentioned. I mean, since the sets are like planned with so much time in between, like where do we see the changes? I mean, I guess they could give them another 5 years. That would, I guess, somewhat make sense, because 5 years would technically be enough to try and, you know, bring things back around. But if the game continues the way it is, like how many years does it really have left? Especially with like some of the stuff that we're discussing later on, when, you know, when it comes to the prices of the cards shooting up ridiculously, or having like huge losses, like stuff like the Hexing Squelcher, for example, that was like, you know, started at $40 at release, and then you got stuff crashing all the way down again. Like everything is just Magic just doesn't feel profitable to me right now in that sense. And I think with one of the other things we had discussed before, with like, you know, the whole FOMO thing, and getting like, not FOMO, I'm sorry, with how Wizards is putting out like these spoilers super early.
Yeah.
So that stores can essentially, you know, be able to keep up with the release schedule and know what to buy beforehand. Like, I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but the point is,
I can add in on what you want to add. So, in Prof's video, he explained as well. Back when we used to, when Granuja existed, you guys know that Wizard of the Coast, for every set, they would bring in like the posters. They would give like stores either standees or things to hang in the wall or in the ceiling. So they're not doing that anymore.
Yep.
Only if the store requests those items in a time frame, they can be able to acquire it. So they're not, they don't care about local game stores anymore as well. It's like,
yeah, but
hey,
also
well,
think about from like a logistics perspective, how quickly like can you make sure that you get all of these? Because it used to be really cool designs. You know, you had like the cardboard thopters and stuff like that. Like, how much can you expect stores to just basically put up and take down decorations like to go with your release schedule? It's just like a few months, and you have like,
oh yeah,
because
this time
before
is
I remember stores taking a pretty long time to get all their decorations set up, because there was a lot to do when you had to set these like displays and really cool like stuff that Wizards gave to the stores. So it's ridiculous.
It was every 4 months you had a set. Now it's every
Exactly.
2 months you have a set. Every month and a half, basically, you have a set.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is true. Man, you mentioned the topters, like the little. I remember making those when I went to the calendar pre-release. That was great.
Heck yeah.
Good times, right, guys?
Yeah. Actually,
I can't believe that I essentially started playing Magic at peak, like right after peak Magic. It was just, and then it's all just been downhill since 2015.
Downhill. Like the other sad part is that you guys all know that if you would like pre-order a play booster box, you would get a promo. You would get a buy a box promo. And back in the day, Wizard of the Coast did a lot of cool stuff. Like when we went to Ixalan, you would get like the buy a box promo and the Treasure Cove promo card that they would like transform. Like if you would get all the cards, they would make like an artwork aside. It was like the map of Ixalan. And there were a lot of great stuff. We're not getting buy a box promos anymore.
What? We're not getting those either, huh?
No.
It's so hard to print that cardboard, huh?
Which like leads me to like the question that's been on my mind, like the point I wanted to get to earlier. It's like, Wizards, where's that money going?
To their pocket.
To their pocket.
Or you know what? There might be a problem.
The cuts that they're making on like WotC is probably what they're kind of using to cover the rest of their divisions. I don't know.
It might be the contract that they're making. I mean, maybe like licensing these different IPs is costing them a lot of money, probably. Which is why the product is more expensive. But then they have to figure out that maybe these products are not as profitable as they've been telling us they are. Think about Spider-Man. That was a humongous flop, and that must have cost a lot of money because that's a multi-year.
Was like the main.
That's the whole nexus of this whole thing. Is the which was egregiously expensive. It had no business being $1,000. That cost like what $5 to print that? Come on, like it's insane.
Not only the fact that not only that,
Badly
let's
designed
put in
product in general.
perspective that I think that if we go right now if we go to like Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings, obviously let's not mention collector boosters because they are always expensive. But if you go to like the other products, they are now at price point where you're like, oh, it tanked, so I can buy and enjoy it. But it is just ridiculous how the prices of all these cards have become, and not only that, it's like next set is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we still don't know the spoiler of the whole set, but there's gonna
I
be
mean, we know a lot.
We
of
know a
those
lot.
sets.
Like
know
those
a lot
commons and
of
uncommons
that.
are not gonna make a difference. To be honest.
yeah. So the fact that these cards will be expensive just because of the fandom, because a lot of people are fans of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we're gonna get a price. All these cards are gonna be expensive, or the products are gonna be expensive just
The
because of
products are
the
cheaper now, and I think that's because, at least from the perspective of Magic players, there's not a lot of hype behind the set. But you're right. To your point, there's probably going to be an influx of new players that they're going to go to like a Target and realize, like, oh my god, there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards, so I'm going to collect those. But like, if you go to Amazon, it's
pizza.
yeah, exactly. But if you go to Amazon, I think the play boosters are like they've been discounted heavily because
Yeah.
no one is actually pre-ordering them, and it's
Yeah.
because we saw the cards already, and they really don't have that much power, so there's not a big incentive for, in terms of like playable pieces, to go out and buy boxes of that.
But
Correct.
I think that's kind of purposeful on design. I think
Okay,
mostly because they realize, Orcish Bowmasters in the One Ring are way too strong,
true.
and I don't know till when do they have the IP. They've clearly shown that they can reprint these cards because I'm pretty sure they've already done secret layers, including some of these cards from the Lord of the Rings.
The Fallout did it.
Yeah, the Fallout did it as well.
They made reskins of their own cards, which was insane to me.
Yeah. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like
I didn't get it. I just waited.
it's a problem when they can't reprint the card
that would be an
easily.
issue.
So how that you make a Raphael really broken? How are you gonna like? Because its typing is mutant turtle. You know, ninja mutant, or it's a ninja turtle.
How long did it take to reprint Rick from
It
took him
like
a bit.
a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
right? Rick
And that
took
was
a long time.
because there was a promise from WotC, but then they just stopped doing that, and they haven't reprinted any in-universe cards since, I think, Stranger Things was the last.
Because they eliminated the list
Exactly.
where everything was being reprinted.
Exactly, which therein lies the problem. You got to be thankful that for now there hasn't been any egregious mechanically unique secret layer that has broken like a format, because if that happens, JP is right. Like, how you're going to print something from a secret layer list? Like, that'd be insane. So,
Yeah, because I remember that for the PlayStation Secret Layer, most of the cards and Jaws as well had mechanically unique abilities, but they were not broken.
and they were not super. Well, they might be expensive because IP purposes, but they're not like broken that you're gonna have to pay $200 for a single card. Like, thankfully, we haven't gotten there.
Foil. If you want expensive cards from Secret Layer, get them foil.
But that has always been the benefit. So if there's something like, is there a silver lining to all of this? For now, has always been the fact that even though they're overproducing so much product, since you get to pick the ratio of like how expensive or how cheap you want to acquire the play piece if your only purpose is to play with the card. So like, you know, the goblin that we were mentioning earlier, it was at $40, but now it's down to 15. But if you want to like the spicy unique version, then you'll pay like upwards of 40, 50, 60, whatever. But if you need the game piece, you can get it really, really cheap. So that's really good for
Hexing Sculpture.
Yeah, Hexing Sculpture, yeah. And it happens with a bunch of other cards that we've seen throughout the years. But
Did Fallout went sold out? Wow, they're still available.
of course, everything is going to be available for a bit. Clearly, these contracts now, like in regards to like, as opposed to the previous ones, like say Warhammer 40K or whatever, like these obviously have been designed so they stay a bit longer around and you can actually acquire them with relative ease. I'm assuming in the next couple of years, some of these will be discontinued and then they'll go up in price. But for now, even Final Fantasy, like, sure, they were missing for a while over the summer, but now they've been reprinted to hell. Like you can acquire that pretty easily.
Well, let me tell all of our viewers, you can still get Spider-Man secret layers. You can still get secret scare super drop secret layer. If you guys are interested in Furby, they still have them. They have all of the secret layers from PlayStation.
Yep.
Oh, except one. Wait, they don't have the one from Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, that one sold out very quickly. I think there was some value in it, so that's why.
If you love Avatar, all of them are still available, and obviously Fallout.
Yep, they're all available. Yep, and that's
so
why there's a lawsuit right now. Because before they would get sold out, no matter what. But now it's like, now people get.
And now, like it begs the question: were they actually selling out?
Good one.
Well, there's that argument. Very, very interesting because Magic 30, the 30th anniversary. You remember that how that product suddenly was unavailable after the first few hours when it didn't even go sold out. They found the remnants of the cards in a Texas landfill, because they couldn't sell them because people weren't buying them because it was stupidly overly priced.
Yep.
Like
not only that,
$1,000.
Yeah, it was $1,000, and not only that, a lot of local game stores here in Puerto Rico, they received the sample. They received
a complimentary box, basically.
Complimentary box, like that they can like show it off and be like, "Hey, you guys can buy this for $1,000."
Yep. Stupid idea.
I remember because one local game store, I asked if they had them, if they had the complimentary box, and they were like, "Yeah, we do." I'm like, how much are you gonna sell it? They're like, well, we're not planning on selling it, but we can sell you the booster packs inside, but there's only like 4. Like you're not gonna sell me a $400 booster pack, right?
Insane. For proxies, for actual proxies.
Oh God. Well, at the end of the day, tell us in the comments what are your thoughts in regards to the whole fiasco of the lawsuit between Hasbro and the shareholders and investors. Hey, let's see what happens. Maybe it's a win for us, less product, that we can actually come back to what Magic was before. But hey, if you guys are enjoying Fortnite in Magic the Gathering, good for you.
There's a secret layer for that.
Yeah, there's a secret layer of Fortnite as well. There's
Fortnite in Fortnite. It's Fortnite.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Be careful, because there might be a standard set of Fortnite one of these days.
Oh my
imagine.
At this point, honestly, I feel like I'm kind of numb to it.
Yeah, same. Actually, same.
It's just kind of like, oh yeah, that would be nuts, but then it's like, it could probably happen. Yeah,
it could probably happen.
Yeah.
Anything goes.
You know what they should do? They should do a standard set for Mega Man. That would be super fun.
At least it almost makes sense. Almost.
It almost makes sense.
Almost, maybe. If you tie it to Neon Dynasty.
I mean, we already have
we're just gonna get a bunch of equipment. Like, it's just gonna be another equipment set again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be, but it could also be a play on like mutate.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
higher JP.
You know how
R&D would be doing so much better
than but different.
Like, you don't need anybody else on
mutate, but different
either.
Yep.
You know, and also you mentioned Mega Man, but like we already have Sonic, and both of them are Sega. So
anything goes.
Anything can happen.
Remember the days when we were like, they will never make a standard set of Universes Beyond. Crazy.
Also just yeah, that's crazy.
Remember?
I think we actually like. I don't know if we actually said that or if at
Pretty
least
sure
one
we
of us
No,
was
we
like,
did.
"Yeah, I hope they don't
We were
do
probably
this
going,
thing
like-
specifically."
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, it'll just go to modern directly, just like The Hobbit.
Yep.
That
And
makes
before
sense.
that, it was like they only just make commander decks. And
Actually-
before that, it was just
actually-
you only make secret layers of that.
Yeah.
Wasn't the original premise of Universes Beyond that it was supposed to be like its own separate thing?
Yes.
From
Yes.
like it was supposed to be like
Yes.
Magic the Gathering, but also like Magic
Little
the
fun
Gathering with
cards.
your
They'll just
favorite
be fun
characters. But
cards.
we're not gonna mix them. We're not gonna do
Nope.
that. No,
Just
no.
little fun cards. And they used to be riskins too. Remember? They used to be.
So
You
it's
remember when Wizards used to keep their word?
Yeah, I know, right?
Crazy to think
like
about.
it's
Wow.
like guys, think about it like this. So if you guys saw Loki, there is the sacred timeline. So imagine Nico Bolas, Johnny, Chandra, and all these peeps are in the sacred timeline. These
You know-
other Universe Beyonds are the other timelines that are
Oh
just
my
fucking
God.
everything up.
Oh
Isn't
no,
there-
they're
isn't there a
branching.
set? There's a set called Reality Fractured, right?
Yeah.
After
Do we want to place bets like $2 that they're gonna just make Universes Beyond and Universes Within in that set? And they're gonna make like a whole joke about this?
I really don't think so.
You don't think they go that far?
I don't think they go that far yet.
I don't know. Anything
Okay,
can
Yet.
happen.
Just write this down. We'll wait a year and we'll see what happens next year. Maybe Jace is gonna hang out with Loki, or maybe Nico.
Oh,
Oh wait,
Bolas
isn't Reality Fracture this year?
Yes.
Yes.
So you mean another? Okay, so
So
god,
that's because that's obviously like a sort of like War of the Spark type of set, or
Yeah.
like the other
That feels more like a planar,
I
like a
really
planar
freaking
chaos
hope
set, no?
not.
Do you think?
The color shift and
think
messing
more
around.
planar
Like I can
chaos,
understand the War of the Spark as like type scenario, but not. I don't think. I think it's just gonna be like something.
Is there even anything
around.
like? Is there even enough like stuff going on with Valvagoth and the Magic Story to like
They'll find
finally
something.
pull off the grand finale for Valvagoth? I mean, I don't doubt it, considering what they did to the Phyrexians. Like, I still think that whole thing was like disrespectful. Honestly,
I have. You guys know I have big opinions on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. we can do a whole podcast about that. That would be fun.
Don't worry, when the set comes out and it's Loki and Nico Bolas against the universe, then
and
At this
I
point-
hate it because they can, they're like, you know how I think it was Doctor Strange and Iron Man, which is like
Oh, yeah.
awesome facial hair buddies. So now these guys are just gonna be like, yes, awesome horns buddies. Yeah,
Exactly,
let's go,
awesome
golden
horn
horns buddies.
There you go.
Oh god, people are gonna hate us, but that's the fun about
You
it.
just see Nicole Bolas pop out with the Loki horns, not with his actual horns.
Love it. Yes, because Fortnite rules. Like they do that shit in Fortnite all the time. So who's to say?
Easy peasy.
In that set, they're gonna bring the stickers back.
Oh my god. Oh, the freaking stickers. I would love to see stickers
Oh,
again.
no.
That'd be amazing.
Stickers are
in
fun.
standard.
And
Like
stickers-
just
stickers-
imagine stickers in standard with the mutate, so we finally
Yes.
get to actually see
Yes.
mutate in a standard
Yes.
table.
The stickers are
Oh.
going to be in the Marvel set because they're going to be like the comic book bubbles. You're just going to
Yeah.
put them. You're going to see different things depending, and that's going to be the
Oh my.
abilities, bro.
Oh god.
Uh,
Okay, so our next.
So I'm gonna mutate
We're
my
Doomer
Mega
Peel.
Man
We're Doomer
on
Peel
top
so
of,
hard
on top
on
of
this.
my Iron Man.
yeah.
So let's go ahead on on our final topic of tonight. So this past if I'm not mistaken, was during the weekend. We had our Pro Tour Lorwyn Eclipse. So we have our top 8 bracket available, and we're gonna go ahead and talk. We're not gonna go like through each deck, but we're gonna talk about how standard is basically modern with another name.
Yep.
So our top 8 are the following, and we have Francisco Sanchez, Christopher Larson, we have Eduardo Sajgali, Cyprian Tron. Oh, he's friends with Tron. So we have Tony Portola God, I'm so sorry if I murdered and
Tony Portolan.
There you go.
Portoland. Yes.
Then we have Guglielmo Lupi,
My God.
Luis Salvato, and Marco Balaca.
Thank
Jesus Christ. Thank you, JP.
Again, Guglielmo Lupi.
you. Loopy.
Or Guglielmo.
I'm
It could be
Loopy right now.
Guglielmo.
I'm loopy, so.
So each of so the winner for this event is Christopher Larson. He played a Demir Executioner. Then we had
Basically Bill.
Yep.
yeah, we had Is It Lessons, Band Airbending, Temur Harmonizer, 5-color Rhyme, and Jetpack Control, because we had Luis was playing as well Demir Executioner. So these are the top 8, our top 8 of the Pro Tour Lorwyn Eclipse. Christopher being the one that took the win as a 3-2.
Representing.
So let's go ahead and move forward to check on the deck list. I'm gonna go ahead and cry. Everybody's gonna cry because these prices are
Yeah, there's a cute little uncommon that's $10 now. My God.
there it is.
An uncommon, yes, there's an uncommon that's $10.
Which one is it?
You're gonna see
Forget
it.
that. I'm
It's
honestly
Taco.
just not
Holy
even looking at the
cow.
prices.
It's $10, almost $10 a piece. It's an uncommon card.
Hey, but it's getting reprinted.
Yay!
Hey.
Hey. I feel like people just crack open Ancient Grave boosters just to get a stupid stock up at this point.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Hey, we got a
Right.
Spider-Man. We got a
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
there's a couple of Spider-Man cards that were actually relevant.
Not bad.
Multiversal Passage was a great land for standard. It doesn't work anywhere else, but it's good for standard. Very useful.
Intimidation Tactics. It's really funny that Intimidation Tactics being the popular uncommon when the set was about to release, and that card was like a $3 to $5 card, and now it's like a penny.
Yep.
So, something interesting about this deck is that because the Superior Spider-Man enters as a copy of something, right?
Mhm.
And then you exile it.
Mhm.
If you can cast your Deceit, it enters for its vote cost. It dies. It does whatever effect you paid mana for. Then you pay 4 mana, and if you played blue, black, and you copy the Deceit because it enters as the copy, you casted it. So it does do its effects.
So that's why they have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
You
having
basically
4
have
is
8 Deceits.
$135.
Yep. The Deceit, which was speculated that a lot of these elemental incarnations were going to be expensive because a lot of them are pretty good.
They're really good.
They're really good.
Then Quantum Riddler is, if you want a playset, it's almost $200 as well.
Or it's 50 something
Yeah.
a piece.
It's more than 50 a piece. It's almost 60 probably. It's 55, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, it's expensive.
52,
And then
53.
Mythic from a set that a lot of people did not open
53.
because just like Aether Drift and just like Age of Eternities, it was sandwiched between Universe Beyond sets. So a lot of
Well,
people
that's
did not-
literally what's going to happen
Well,
to every
Aether Drift-
set, anyways. No,
Exactly.
like every Magic
Yeah,
set,
but
it's
Aether
just going to
Drift
get
had
sandwiched.
the biggest problem though, because nobody was not even hyped for this set, and as well, if I'm not mistaken, Aether Drift released, and in MTG Weekly the next week they already were announcing Avatar. If I'm not mistaken, they were like already like here's some promo. Here's
It
some
was
card.
sandwiched between Innistrad Remastered and the next set that came right after, which I think was Tarkir. Actually, Tarkir was like there was more hype around Tarkir.
Yeah, there was more hype around Tarkir. I was hyped for Tarkir.
Tarkir's
But-
pretty good.
The fact that you have to $645.71
For a standard set, standard,
for a
Yep.
standard deck.
which is not even running that many shock lands because you
No.
just checked. It's not even that many shock lands.
It's running 4 Watery Graves, 1 Undercity Sewers, 11 Swamps,
Yep.
4 Restless Reefs, and 2 Multiversal Passages. Oh, my bad. And then 4 Gloom Lake Verge.
And if you notice, for the most part, a lot of expensive cards are going to be mythics,
Yep.
which is something JP talked about right before we got into it.
Even
Yeah,
a lot of the
I will
rares
mention
are
that
cheapo
later
cards
after
too,
we
which is
cover
crazy.
all the decks.
All the decks, go ahead. So then we have Teamer, right? That's the next
Teamer
one.
Harmonizer.
So with Teamer Harmonizer, you have the very synergistic way of using Icefield Explorer to fill your graveyard and use these harmonized cards. Mostly just like but it's not the harmonized cards. Although I did see a list with the harmonized cards. I do not see them here though. It's usually mostly the Icefield Explorer with Might Form Harmonizer, but I did see the harmonized cards, which I do not see on this list.
Yeah.
Because since you could use the harmonized cards from the graveyard, it was a double meaning with Might Form on a Harmonizer and the harmonized cards in the graveyard. But this is just mostly Might Form Harmonizer, because you could pay the warp cost to cast something like a full bore, and then he becomes a 7/6, play a land. If it's an escape tunnel, it's immediately if you crack the escape tunnel, get basically two land triggers. He goes from a 7/6 to a 14/12 to a 28/24, and it has haste and trample, and that's just on a possible turn 3, turn 4. No, it's a turn. That's not minimum turn 4.
Okay.
So yeah, it's quite fast.
$350, and it's one of the cheaper ones.
Yeah,
It's
it's
top
mostly
eight.
just banking on finding a harmonizer.
Remember when you used to be able to build a standard deck for $200, and that was like, whoa, man,
Oh, that's expensive.
pretty cool
$200.
deck.
Yeah.
See,
No, that used to be like a really good mid tier, man.
Right. Yeah.
so it does use Songcrafter Mage, which does give something harmonize. But I swear I saw a list running a few more creatures and a harmonized instant and sorcery package.
Gotcha.
You could use the Icefield Explorers to mill, and you wouldn't be sad to mill them because you would just get those cards for later with a harmonized effect.
Okay. Our next deck is Jeskai Control.
It looks like a control deck. Exactly. That looks like control.
Control. How many win conditions do you have? One.
Yep. Exactly. That's all you need.
I only
lot of
need
board wipes.
one.
A lot of board wipes, controlling the graveyard, controlling the field. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Counter
Yeah,
everything.
It's just running four ofs of I get to draw cards, I get to kill your stuff, I get to kill your stuff, I get to counter your stuff, I get to draw cards, board wipe, and then the Jeskai Revelation, which is still damage and but also draw and gain life.
I also realized two kind of funny things. I mean, like we already talked about how like there's just a bunch of mythics and rares in every single deck. But I also realized by putting a bunch of mythics and rares that way into your like Magic sets, you also in turn like start making playing Magic Arena super expensive.
Yeah, true.
Oh, Arena has always been expensive.
Yeah, but like
because the wild card,
they've increased the price even further because of the wild cards. That's the other thing
that's
too.
the problem. Yep.
If they would implement the same like they would
like in Hearthstone
or MTGO that you can you can just either rent the card or buy the card with tickets right. So you see in MTGO this costs 136.66 on MTGO, so it's like very very half of the fraction of the price of 459 with 9 cents.
Way cheaper,
but still in Arena it would be 47 rare wild cards and 8 mythics. So It's ridiculous. It's a lot.
You have to open a lot. Or if you buy the packages, I remember the packages used to be like $20 for 4 mythics and 4 rare wild cards, if I remember correctly. So,
or if you draft a lot of people, they get the cards because they draft a lot. So drafting is another way to get the cards.
I remember that a few years back. Not a few years back. I think it was like last year or like the year before that. I saw somebody talking about how the average price for you to be able to build a standard deck at that time was around $200 in Magic Arena, because that's like the amount of mythics and rares you had to get. At this point, I'm assuming that price has probably gone up at least anywhere in between 50 to 100 more bucks.
And by having so many sets coming into standard, cards change and power level increases. So a lot of your stuff is going to be irrelevant in 2 months if you're like actively playing a lot.
So, exactly. So here is our next deck. Is it Elementals for a hefty price of almost $1,000? You get this deck.
Oh, it's because of Roaming Throne.
Roaming Throne.
My God, that's a place that is almost like a Switch. It's a Switch. You can get a Switch.
But is that specifically for that art, or is that just like
no? That's like generic.
It takes the price of the lowest one.
Yeah.
It's just using this art.
I will verify with you, and the cheapest listing is $63. So.
Yep.
A lot of money.
That's even.
It's a lot of.
That makes it even
crazier.
crazier.
Wistfulness. If you want to place it, it's $120. Then you have $101 for Deceit, and then this deck runs 4 Cavern of Souls. That's $187.
Man, jeez, crazy.
This is crazy.
I will say this, in my opinion, is probably one of the more fun decks that looks like this looks really fun to play.
No, it's at a very fun price for sure.
Oh yeah,
a lot of mythics. There's a lot of mythics to craft.
Maybe I have recency bias because I actually have the Ashling deck and I played it a few times already, and every single time I won, but mostly because of flukes. But it felt really fun to do everything I did. So I might be biased towards Elementals.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's a very unique type of deck. It's very different from the other ones. The other ones is general control, or you're doing something with landfall. This is like evoke, and it's like very specific about the elementals. It's almost like creature heavy. You only have a few spells to like ward off wherever you need, but it's just lands and creatures. So it is the more unique deck here.
It is. It looks fun. It looks really fun. I'm not gonna lie. Our next,
when, like most lists used to have creatures, and then you had like a bunch of It's like one or two control decks. Everybody else was running a bunch of creatures.
Our next deck is
another
5-color rhythm. So for another grand, you get this.
The Badger Mold Club.
Badger Mold Club. If you want a play set, you're gonna get a hefty price of $257.
My God! But that one, at least, you're gonna use it everywhere.
Yeah, that's
except if you want also a playset of Quantum Riddlers, it's $214.
Yeah.
Oh, 4 Temple Gardens, 4 Hushwood Verges, the Breeding Pools, $40, $50.
Two Orbuds in the sideboard just to really.
I just saw that. This card is like 45 each. That's crazy.
Yes.
What happened with these prizes?
I don't know.
I haven't been keeping up, so that's why I'm like kind of shocked.
Again, when you isolate these and you're talking about like that X price for a mythic, you're like, yeah, that's totally reasonable. Then you see somebody put all these cards together, and you're like,
crazy.
Why?
Because standard needs multiples. You're thinking like a commander pool, you only need the one card. So you're gonna be like,
why would you make these mythics work so well together?
Yeah, but this is the funny part. Back in the day, back in standard or in modern, when back when we used to play multiple formats, right? A playset of Temple Garden would have been, instead of $32, would have been in the $60, $80 range. Now you can have a playset of Temple Dark Garden for $32.
Yeah, shocks at least have crashed a little bit, which is nice. But
shocks are gonna go. They're gonna tank again when they get reprinted again.
They got reprinted now. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So because I remember that when Modern Horizon 2 came out, the fetch lands were reprinted,
Yeah.
and they tanked for like $10 each. And then if you wanted them foil, you could get them for like $11. Get an additional dollar, and you could get them foil. So it's gonna happen again. But these mythics are ridiculous.
Pretty ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So there you go. Demir Executionator is for $645.71.
Very similar to the other build we just saw. So.
Yeah, you got Quantum Rider Riddler is in the sideboard, so you need a couple. It's 160. Or Deceit, it's $135.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure it's just the exact same list.
I also realized you can almost
probably.
build
645 with 71 cents.
Mm-hmm.
They have the same exact quantities of everything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the exact same list. They're just piloted by two different people.
Yep.
Then we have it. We have Is It Lessons? So it's $448.55.
My God.
One creature.
Grand.
That's all you need.
So strong. Yeah, Grand's crazy.
So good. So good.
Next
surprised
deck
it's not
is
running the Wanchi Dong too.
Washington.
I'm surprised this deck doesn't run Springleaf Drum, but I guess I'm pretty because you only have one creature. You only have one creature to trigger it, but
Yeah,
Grand and Springleaf Drum go hand in hand very easily.
they do. Look at
Unfortunately,
the.
you can't have more creatures
Mhm.
to actually use Springleaf Drum when you don't have Grand.
Something else to note is the land package there. The River Pyre Verge is $20 a pop, and that is because also Aether Drift, so that's kind of part of it. But it's also because the land is very usable and standard. And these type of lands, they don't have many printings because it's the first time we ever see the land of this type. So that's why it also carries a hefty price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have Bant Airbending for $719.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we have the Badger Mole Cub is back again.
We also have Appa, which is also a pretty penny. The lands are always a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And even in the sideboard, a Cavern of Souls.
Which you would have thought they would have gone down in price, and they did. They did go down in price a little bit, but then it just went back up.
Yeah.
To be fair, when Avacyn Restored came out and Cavern of Souls was was already out, I started playing 6, maybe 8 sets after.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure maybe 5. I don't. 5 sets after Cavern of Souls sat at $50, and then it sat there for ages.
Yeah.
Cavern of Souls has the Cryptic Command type effect, where Cryptic Command was $30 for forever, and I'm pretty sure I don't know if Cryptic Command is even $30 anymore, but Cryptic Command stayed at $30 for a very long time, even after it stopped seeing play.
Yeah.
Cavern of Souls should probably stay around the $50 range, mostly because that's just kind of where it sat forever. But I'm not sure if I'm trying to grandfather a price into this card without taking into account how many times it's being reprinted. Also because this card has several
Souls in Rivals, it's not Rivals, the Lost Cavern of Ixalan. Remember, Cavern of Souls had that weird ass that depending on the color that you get,
right?
They had 100 million. Yeah. It's crazy.
So it should be probably cheaper, but also it kind of makes sense that it's around that price.
Yeah.
Now I do want to mention Cavern of Souls is a mythic, and this is the last card of the
right now. Cryptic Command, that's the one that you were mentioning, JP. Right now, the most expensive version is the Masterpiece series from the Amon Cat Invocation. You can get it for $34. But this one you can get the Final Fantasy one for $357, or the Secret Layer one for $4.
Don't you remember when Cryptic Command was modern playable?
I remember.
It's
Yeah.
fun. That was a fun modern right there.
The other thing
So-
is that this is a type of card that I wish that Wizard of the Coast would bring back just for fun. You guys remember when back in the day you could find like the full art non-text cards like Cryptic Command, Damnation.
That makes sense for like, you know,
Perspective,
a Wrath
basically.
of God, Damnation. That makes sense. Swords
There's
to
a lot of
Plowshares. That makes sense. When it's a modal card with Cryptic Command, you're gonna have to remember each and every damn mode, and if there's 4 of them, no,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But
Trust
but
me, if I like the card a lot, I will remember them.
it is ridiculous like how expensive like cards these decks are. Like I remember when I used to play like competitive standard, the most expensive deck by that time when I started playing it was the blue white control deck with Teferi Heroes of Dominaria and the History of Benalia.
I'm gonna show my age because
Oh, I remember that
like
now.
in my age for
Ooh, crap.
in terms of standard in Magic, because I played for Counts of Tarkir, and that's when they first reprinted all the fetch lands for the first time.
Yeah.
And four color slop was there because the Tango lands from Battle for Zendikar
Mhm.
were legal and you could fetch them. And so 4-color decks became the norm, and they would just be called Jeskai Black and or Abzan Blue. And you had this a reanimation combo deck that used Jace Vryn's Prodigy to tap and draw cards to discard them, and then use a massive reanimation spell to reanimate everything in play. Use Grey Merchant of Asphodel. What I mean by this is the deck was at least almost $2,000.
Got it.
That was the most. I'm pretty sure that is the most expensive standard because of the 4-color possibilities. You needed all the fetch lands, all the fancy fetchable lands. You had several mythics that were very, very in high demand. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And right now, standard dropped, and it was really affordable. I'm pretty sure a few sets ago we said like, "Hey, we might get into standard because it was affordable." And then a lot of these prices are like crazy, and these are a lot of recent things. I understand Cavern of Souls is not a recent card. All these elementals are very recent. The Badger Mole is extremely recent, and the Quantum Riddler is also, and with the Ouroboros is also very recent, and they're all really, really expensive.
Yep, stupid.
I barely see any Final Fantasy cards here.
True.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't see them.
Yeah,
Maybe a few.
Yeah. Avatar Spider-Man made more of a splash, surprisingly.
Yeah. Right now, like, look, right now, I've been always these past few weeks when the year started, I was like, I want to have at least like a modern deck, a standard deck, just for fun. So I was like, I went to MTG Goldfish. I'm like, let me look at the section that says budget decks. So I went ahead and I have my mono red modern deck I only invested $20 on. I'm only missing a few cards that they're on their way. So I'm super excited of that. And then for standard, I found this other mono red deck that it's in total, the most expensive card is Redirect Lightning. That needs a play set. And this is the most funny part. So this random foundations instant card called Bulk Up, and if you need a play set of Bulk Up, so it's like $14, and you need the Slick Shot Show Off from I forgot the set.
Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
Yeah, because Firebending Student for a playset is like $4.
Yeah.
And then the Leyline of Resonance, it's $3 for the 4 of them. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna build it. Probably I know that 2 of the cards are gonna go poof next year, but hey, it's a deck that I can maybe look for other cards and rebuild it again and have
Like on
a
the cheap.
better deck.
It's on the cheap. Mono red is always a good bet when you're playing
Yeah,
locally.
exactly. You know, there's other budget decks there that are like the same range, like under this one at least. If you buy all the cards like off the bat, it's like $90. But there are other budget decks available for standard. I spoke to Laura yesterday, and she told me like, hey, my standard deck is like $20. I'm like, Jesus. So there are budget decks. So, I was like, yeah, I just want to have it just to like be able to go to like the RCQs or any qualifiers that they do, the big events, just for fun, just to have fun. I still need to look for a deck list for Pioneer, but I just got to say, if you want to play a format, don't always go to build your own deck. Have fun. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Freaking standard is expensive. If you want to play standard, go right ahead. But if you're gonna waste that much money, just play modern. Just play modern.
Commander. That's like a grand is basically a CDH deck.
Exactly.
Many CDH decks, probably.
Many.
So I do want to mention and segue towards the last thing I want to talk about is about the prices and about what MTG Goldfish recently said in one of their podcasts, where they basically don't like the way mythics are being handled currently, and although the sentiment is kind of already too late because mythics have been a problem for a while. It's very obvious right now, mostly because I mentioned Quantum Riddler, Badger Mole Cub, the Cavern of Souls, all of the elementals, they're all mythics. And so placing so much of the power on such a rare card, I think is a problem for standard and for future sets in general. I feel like if Badger Mole Cub were a rare in comparison to a mythic, then it would still be equally as strong because obviously the card effect hasn't changed, but the availability would be there. And maybe that would incentivize a bit more of a balance because I don't think R&D is really, like Wizards R&D isn't really doing the R part. They're not doing the research. They're developing a lot of cards, but they're not. I don't think they don't have enough time because they have 7 sets to worry about. They don't have the time to do the proper research.
Yep.
Hexen Squelcher was one of the cards people were really excited about, and then it's what, $15 now, dropped from $40 to $15. That's a properly rated card. It's not seen play in a lot of places. Its power level is strong, but it's not like overtly so, and its price is reasonable.
Yep.
Badger Mole is a bit too strong, and its price is unreasonable. If it were a rare, at least it would be available, and its price would be more reasonable. And even then, as a rare, it doesn't guarantee that the availability would be the same. If you don't if nobody remembers, for what was the set? There's Kaladesh, and then there's what?
Aether Drift. No, Aether Drift. No. Aether Revolt.
The Aether Revolt. That's where Fatal Push came out.
Yeah.
And Fatal Push is an uncommon, but they decided to make it even rarer than a normal rare. People would buy boxes and pop 2 Fatal Pushes in the entire box. It was artificial scarcity.
If they were lucky,
and that's the same thing we're experiencing with these mythic rares. If they were just rares, then the artificial scarcity wouldn't even be there, and the price would be reasonable. But because the price wouldn't be reasonable, it would make sure that these cards that are overtly powerful would be play tested at least a bit.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I think mythics should be placed for mechanically unique cards that are also very strong. And the example I gave before we started the podcast was Agatha's Soul Cauldron. That is a very, very overtly powerful card that should be a mythic.
Yep.
You know, That makes sure that's a powerful card. I mentioned Oroboroid, but I do feel like that's a unique enough card that should stay a mythic. Obviously, I'm not talking about downshifting any card or upshifting any card, but as long as it's very mechanically unique and not overtly like just flat out overpowered, I think it should be a mythic. But overtly powered cards should stay as rares, mostly because of availability.
Yep.
What do you
I
guys
agree.
think?
You're right about that. I think because of that, it is making the prices unreasonable, and they could print more Avatar, which they actually have. You go to like I go to like Target, and I see boosters all the time, but the problem is, who's gonna crack them? They're too expensive. So the only people who crack the booster the play boosters are like stores or people who want to resell the cards. But it becomes a gamble cracking one of these boxes because you need to buy like cases to be able to get your money. So if no one's cracking boxes, they can print all the boosters and boxes they want. But if no one's cracking them, there's scarcity of the card, so the card can go down in price. But to your point, it's also ridiculous that these cards are so expensive to begin with. So yeah, there's no good solution to this problem.
No,
And
not.
if standard can thrive, is going to thrive, which is doing a pretty good job right now because there's momentum going on. At least there's some interest because of the Pro Tour.
Not only that, but because 7 out of the 8 decks are unique.
Yes.
Like, because there's only one repeat.
Yep. There's a lot of variety because there's so many sets now that it can breed a lot of creativity and a lot of different deck builds and type of deck strategies. But the problem is that, the really good cards are really going to stand out and everyone's going to want them, like the Badger Mole. So, or like Stock Up, which is
all you really end up doing is just having like, you have someone that's essentially just building a deck off of like, hey, like every time like a set comes out, just get all the mythics, save your play sets, and there you go. You got standard for 6 months. Next set comes out, get all the mythics. You got your setup for the next 6 months. So that I feel like that's also a way to like get your customers to buy less in general.
Yep. It's becoming
but then there's the big issue would be this as well. Like if you do that, that's fine. But for instance, one thing that we noticed, not many of the Universe Beyond set cards are in these decks. So these mythics are being brought on from the actual Magic the Gathering sets. So you have a lot of these cards that are from the actual sets that people are actually looking forward to because it's Magic. It's Magic the Gathering. It's an actual like OG set for the story and whatever. Then what happens if these sets like Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, the upcoming ones that we have, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Marvel superheroes, Star Trek, XYZ, whatever else they want to invent, because I think The Hobbit is the other one that's going to be this year as well. Then these cards, if they're not playable in standard, but they are part of standard, people are probably the people that are supposed to be buying them, they're not going to buy them. The only solution that I can see is, and I'm not going to call it a solution, my bad, not a solution. One of the things that Wizard of the Coast has to do is start pushing the collector market. A lot of people sometimes go ahead, grab these uniquely foiled or serialized cards. They send them to grading. There's no price range for most of these cards because nobody buys slabbed Magic the Gathering cards. Unless they're from beta, alpha, Arabian Nights, sets that are like way back.
I mean, I know why you're proposing this because of Pokemon. Because since collectors, because Pokemon is really affordable. Like if you actually want to play Pokemon, it's super dirt cheap because everyone's super concerned of just getting the really expensive Charizard. So as a result, people are cracking boosters a lot. But the detriment could be that if you so choose to actually want to get product, you're going to be unable to find product. So that would be the downside. So it's sort of like, I get what you mean, because it would make everything uber affordable because everything will be cracked open. But they could also show some fatigue too. And
No, yeah,
Wizard
but-
doesn't do a good job at reprinting stuff as Pokemon does. Pokemon
No,
will
yeah,
reprint
but
around. Yeah.
in regards to that is you would obligate Wizard of the Coast to eliminate the collector booster and put everything in one booster box as well.
Yeah.
You know, but the reason why I say it is because there is a group of people. You know, we have people that play competitively. We have people that collect because of the IP, because they want to collect all of the D&D stuff, all of the Ninja Turtle stuff, all of the Star Trek stuff, whatever, all of these IPs, right? And then you have us that we play a lot of Commander. You know, we are a subgroup of the whole community of Magic the Gathering. But that certain specific group that only collect, the ones that want to have their cards slabbed, it's a group that they should push a little bit, because most of these cards don't have a market out there when they're slabbed, you know, unless they're beta and alpha, because that's a different whole type of currency, right? But one of the biggest examples that I'm going to put in is the Mana Vault, the Mana Vault that from Fallout, the chase card from the Secret Lair. That Mana Vault only had one person, and it was not still sold. He posted the card, a Gen Mint 10 Mana Vault for 20K. And then when our friend Carlos went ahead and sent his to grade, then he received it a 9, and then he could roughly sell it 12K, 15K if he wants to. But the thing is that it's something that it's not set in stone because there's no sales, because that market is still not tapped in. But again, that's just something that is putting it out there, not because I want people to start scalping for Magic the Gathering.
They already tried, it got burnt. So
yeah, so you know, but it's just a way, you know, just a
solve the
leeway.
solution of having more cards in circulation, which is true, because that's the problem. People are not cracking. Like, if they don't like Spider-Man, they're not gonna. That's what happened. You saw Spider-Man on shelves for months and months on end because no one was cracking open Spider-Man, and still
on shelves, yeah.
And still in shelves, because I remember that the last event that we attended, that was the Portal experience. We had a local game store in front of us, and they had half of their, like, the stands, the plastic stands, the first 2 shelves were full of the Spider-Man gift bundles, the expensive one.
Yeah, they're not gonna move that at all, especially if they put it at the price that they wish they could sell it for. So
exactly. So, you know, it's just an idea.
Even if they don't like it, there's not a situation with like, especially when you start accumulating Magic product that way. There's no way you're getting your money back, unless it's like, you know, if you're planning to do like, you know, piggy bank sort of thing, in which you just have the set, put it in a closet, and forget about it forever until 10 years from now, maybe it gains some value.
Yeah.
But
exactly,
that's it. Like, you're gonna wait 10 years for a return on investment,
because they're thinking Magic works the same way as Pokemon, and it doesn't. And since Spider-Man came right after Final Fantasy, they were thinking, we're gonna do the same thing that Final Fantasy. I remember going to like a used video game store in Puerto Rico. I'm not gonna say the name, and they had a bunch of Final Fantasy boosters, like $12 a pop, and I'm like, bro, you're not gonna sell it. And I know for a fact they're gonna reprint this again in December. So this is just gonna be like, you're gonna have to liquidate this to get rid of it, because no one's gonna buy it at $12 a piece. And lo and behold, he had to lower the price because they printed so much more boosters.
This is the Magic the Gathering is not Pokemon. Get that into your head. Now One Piece is becoming Pokemon, but that's
becoming Pokemon. That's crazy.
That's another conversation.
Yeah,
so I don't know, guys. Is there anything else that you guys want to add on JP's final topic? Because we can make this a whole nother episode. This is something that's gonna happen.
I feel like we just at this point we're just stacking more stuff on the thing that's like already there. Like,
basically,
JP summed it up pretty well, and we've all just talked about how mad we are at Wizards at this point.
Yes. So I think
it's slowly becoming like the bash on Wizards hour, you know.
Yeah,
it always is.
It always is. Giving us at a round table, starting with Chris. Where can the people find you?
You guys can find me here on the Cardboard Cave podcast. And, you know, if you ever come visit the island of Puerto Rico, you might see me around. Who knows?
How about you, Ale?
You can find me here, the Cardboard Cave podcast, talking about sweet, expensive, IP-driven cardboard. You can also find me at Cinemas Podcast. All right, talk about movies. You can also find me at Cállate, Dale Play. It's another podcast because I don't have enough podcasts yet in my life, so I need more podcasts. But yeah, what about you, JP?
You can find me here, the Cardboard Cave podcast, bashing Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
How about you, John?
Well, you guys can find me here as well at the Cardboard Cave podcast. If you guys want to send us any type of messages or emails, either Ale and me or any team member will be answering any of your questions or doubts. Or if you want to collab, go ahead and collab with us as well. If you guys want to join our Discord server, it's available. The link is right there. Just join and we're there like that. We can talk about Magic the Gathering in regards of any other things as well. Plus, you can find me at Real In Films. I do movie reviews and interviews as well. We have a couple of nice ones on their way. Just waiting for embargoes to be lifted, like that we can have those videos up in the air as well. I appear a Friday yes and a Friday no in Conexión Espiritual Radio, and probably in March I'll be in another radio station. Let's see what happens. Well, nothing, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Cardboard Cave podcast, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Until I cut it, bala pa tu cabeza, para delicadeza, habla la realeza, salva naturaleza, method for your mentalities, kill them with no fatalities, happy with all the cannabis, welcome to your reality.